Hello, everyone. You are listening to Let's Talk Business, a weekly podcast where we walk you through entrepreneurship, startups, and businesses by interviewing some of the popular speakers and entrepreneurs that even made it to the country's biggest show, Shark Tank India. In today's episode, we have with us Riya Khattar, founder of Heart Up My Sleeves, who was recently seen on Shark Tank India, where she got a positive deal with the Sharks. She also has an experience as associate consultant at an extremely prestigious organization, Michael Page. A graduate from Kamla Nehru College, she comes from a psychology background and now doing a business in the fashion industry very well. Welcome to the podcast, Riya. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me here, first of all, guys. And it's honestly amazing to be with you and have a chat about this.
Welcome, Riya. Welcome on. Of course, we are too excited to have you on board, as well as more than us. It was our community through Instagram and the community group that we have through EDC. They were more excited about this thing, of course. So let's just dig into your lifestyle as well as how it all started. So coming to it,
Sure.
one of the most prompted question that came us was they wanted to know more about you. So tell us something more about you that we don't know from the LinkedIn or the Shark Tank journey.
Okay, sure. So I graduated from Kamla Nehru College, and postly after that, I started working with Mercer as a data analyst. And then I took a break from work, and COVID happened, and then I was
Mhm.
just constantly looking for jobs, and I was also just brainstorming sitting at home, right? So one day I just realized that I wanted to start something and cater a new product in the market, and that's when I decided to start Heart Up My Sleeves, but we'll talk about that a little later. Apart from that, in college I was into music, so I have been into music for the longest time in my life. I'm a singer, and that really also gave me a lot of confidence to present myself at the stage, right? So that definitely gave me a boost. And yeah, that's about me. I'm also a singer, and yeah, and I'm running a business, and I'm also working with Michael Page.
Now, your voice perfectly fits to a singer voice, of course. So, other than that, what's your typical day look like, and what are your hobbies? How do you spend before Shark Tank, also after Shark Tank? What's your day? How it got changed after that?
So I think definitely before Shark Tank, we were just trying to explore and understand our niche in the market because we're a startup business, and we wanted to firstly initially see how people respond to the product, but as in when we understood and how people are responding, we wanted to expand, right? And that's when we also launched on a couple of platforms such as Nika and Azam. I think
Okay, great.
postly after Shark Tank, it's been a tremendous journey. I think my phone doesn't stop ringing all day. And, I've been receiving messages and, a lot of appreciation from people around the world. So that is the kind of impact that Shark Tank has had on my business.
Surely, surely means it is more famous. I guess Shark Tank is more famous other than India also. It is being lived at other places. I was in contact with the tag owners also, the tag foods.
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
also saying this was a PR stunt that the biggest PR stunt they have other done. For
Yes.
sure, good. So about your education background, psychology to startup, of course, a good subject to know about the people scale, to communicate to others, understand the human consumer behavior. So how it has helped into your this thing till date, your startup journey, or as well as your mentality towards startups.
So I think it has definitely made me understand what my customers require and what they also like. So I think that's pretty common and generic as well. I think if you're starting out a business, it's very important for you to know and understand your audience and your target, market as well, and interact with them. If initially your product is new, or maybe you don't know what response you will get, you definitely need to interact with them and understand if they're liking your product, understand, take a feedback from them as well, and then work accordingly in your area and expertise. So I think that's the key.
Greatly, any person with the experience, uh, it is just that you get the feel that someone has gone through the experience. Great, great. And what about your work experience? Of course, you worked as a data analyst. Even I'm pursuing business analytics right now, MBA in business analytics. So we can relate. of course, this would be coming in help to you into your startup journey, also going through Instagram insights and everything. So something about that also, your work how it helped you into this thing.
So I think it definitely gives me an edge of dealing with senior stakeholders and as well, and interacting with people outside my organization. I think that has really given me the confidence to interact with other people and also learn from them. Right? It's honestly been a learning journey for me so far, and the only thing that keeps me going is also that I know that I haven't reached my highest potential. I have a very long way to go, and I just want to keep learning each and every day, so that's what keeps me going. And of course, this has already like given me a boost to understand my audience, and interact with them, and also deal with senior stakeholders like I mentioned.
Greatly, great. Even as Kapil Sharma said, I'm not done yet. Of course, it is a hotline for everyone. Everyone is motivated to reach to near heights these days. And of course, next up, the next section we would be touching upon would be your startup journey. And from here, Shubhangi would be taking over. Shubhangi, go ahead.
Hi, Riya. First of all, I just want to compliment you on your amazing sleeves. You look stunning.
Thank you
I
so much.
love
This is
having my own pair after this interview. So, let's just start from the basics. Like, what prompted you? Like, why sleeves? Like, I think all of us want to know what made you think that sleeves is something I want to do.
so um I think there's some disturbance. Yeah, it's fine right now. Yeah. So I think one day I was just looking at my cupboard and it was like 3 a.m. at night. And, obviously pandemic and lockdown was going on at that point of time. And I just realized that, at 3 a.m. I suddenly realized that, I wanted to dress up, but I don't have any clothes. And I just figured like, what if I, make a product that, that you can reuse and, like create multiple outfits from it. And also because we were sitting at home and we were just looking at Instagram, and people were actually like at home but getting ready, they wanted to do something and they wanted to change their minds as well, and they were not spending that much money, right? So that's when it came to my mind that maybe there is a need for this product, that people can actually create outfits, multiple outfits with just one product of one pair of sleeves, right? So that's when it struck me to actually launch the product. And yeah, I mean that's how Heart of My Sleeves actually began and started.
I think all of us, like at least me, for me, I can totally relate to you when you say that there's need for new outfits every day. And I actually really like the idea, to be honest. I love it. So now another question that comes to every entrepreneur is where to start from. Like, what was your initial investment in your business that you did?
Yeah. So I think initially I started with just 10,000 rupees, which was, self-funded. And I just wanted to honestly look and understand how people, respond to the product. Because if it's a new product, you never know if it's gonna, go trending or just go downfall, right? So you really need to try and test and put the product in the market and see how your audience and your, the market responds to it. So that's what I initially did. I just put out the product and just to see how people, if they even understand what the product is about. So for the longest time I had to actually explain to all my customers, okay, this is the product and this is how you wear it, this is how you style it. So it was initially a challenge, but definitely a good way to go and to start out a business, I would say.
Okay, so since you have a completely unique product, so what was your branding strategy? Like for this kind of product, you need to make a really good brand name and brand logo so that people understand from the brand itself what the brand is all about. So what was the strategy on making the logo and deciding the brand name?
So I think so when I decided that I wanted to go with sleeves, I my sister and I, we were just discussing about the idea, and we both sat down and we just brainstormed of what would be the best brand name for this particular kind of product. So there's this very famous quote says that wear your heart on your sleeves, right? And that's when it struck me that this is, what I want to go for. And that's when I decided that, if people can relate to what the brand caters and what value we hold as a brand, I think it's pretty clear from the brand name that okay, maybe this brand is creating something different, and it's focusing on sleeves or something related to clothing, right? And the logo also describes that very well. So I think that's when I knew that I wanted to go with this particular name.
Yeah, I completely agree that logo describes the brand and its purpose very well. And it was like the brand logo is also very good. So after the brand logo and all stuff, what was your launching strategy? Like, did you start it from Instagram or any other website?
So, so my launching strategy was definitely like a trial and error method, I would say, because I didn't know what my audience would respond to it. So I definitely just put out the product in the market just to see how people respond. And of course, being a small business, I think it's important to understand when to also expand, right? So initially, of course, we started out with Instagram just to see how people respond to the product, right? And there's no harm in just creating a page and just putting out a product, right? Just to see how audience also interacts with it. So that's something, and we honestly have an advantage that we have social media at our hands, that we can you know I mean, just launch something or just create a brand or just give out a service on Instagram or on any other social media platform. So that's definitely an advantage to our generation.
Yeah. So since as a small business and starting through Instagram, was your main focus on word of mouth, and were your first customers your family and friends?
So honestly, they weren't. I mean, my first customers weren't family and friends, right? Because I wanted, I wanted to understand firstly if this product is not only limited to my family and friends, and if it can actually be useful to other people, right? And that was the main goal behind the creating this product as well, right? To solve a problem of women who struggle every day to wear new clothes, right? So this was the problem that I was solving, and I wanted to put it out there in the market and show people that this is the problem that we as a brand are solving. And so I actually interacted with a lot of influencers at that point of time, and I sent out my products to them as well. And that's when the good time of Heart of My Sleeves actually started. So one reel went viral, and people just went bonkers about asking about my product, and just to, because I think so. So Nikki Mera was the first influencer, with that reel just went viral. And she had actually styled our sleeves in like 8 different ways. So it was honestly so inspiring for me to also see that people are just exploring their creativity with the product as well. And that's when people started asking me a lot of questions about the product, and that's when we started having sales as well.
Yeah. So with the boom with the business, it also booms your motivation as well, right?
Correct,
Yeah. That's
correct, absolutely.
You're a perfect example to means we say in this startup world. It is just to start it out. Is you of course went through a journey of trial and error. So of course, coming through the business, you started within your Instagram page. Then you went to Nika, and as well as you would be trading on Amazon also, I believe. So
So not Amazon.
okay,
Yeah, go ahead.
okay. So what are the other channels that you are trading on right now?
So we're there on Nika Fashion as well as Aza, and we have our own website as well, and we're planning to launch on a couple of platforms this year.
Great, great. So even we saw at Shark Tank also, there were many businesses that were only limited to Instagram only. They were building their community, overall community over there. So what prompted you to go to these channels also, as well as building your own website?
So I think it's very important for you to understand when to expand, right? And as in when I realized that my product had the kind of response that I was expecting, I decided that I need to develop a website for my product. and also make it user friendly, right, to showcase all my products, because it's very difficult on Instagram for people to just see all the products that you have, right, because you're just posting pictures, and it's not very easy for the user to understand what all products that you have, right. So I think it was very important for me to then launch my website for people to, of course, to make it easy for them, right. So that's when I realized that I wanted to shift to that. And of course, going forward, we have also launched on Nika Fashion and Azar to, of course, expand our customer base as well.
Surely, great, great. So, if we go into deep into your stats about your sales and all, well, how it is distributed over these channels, the Nika Fashion, the as well as your website and the Instagram stuff also.
So obviously we've just started out with Nika Fashion and Azad this month, so I can't really put a number to it. But
Okay.
of course, we have been getting a very good response on our website so far. But maybe 5 months down the line, I'll have an answer to that.
Great, great. We wish you best of luck for your sales number to be shooting up. Of course, Shark Tank would be giving you the boost. And what about the influencer stuff? Of course, a message, getting a reply back from an influencer is a great thing for many Indians, of course. So, how, as a brand, you guys did contact the influencer as well as got them on board? What was that journey?
So I'll be very honest. I initially, what I used to do is I used to set up my time and like segregate my time accordingly. That from 2 to 3, I'm just gonna message, stylists. From 4 to 6, I'm just gonna message the bloggers and influencers. So that's when and every day I used to repeat the process. So like if I used to send it to one person and they didn't used to respond, I used to unsend it and then send it again to them, right? So every day it was like a constant process that I used to do. And slowly and steadily I started getting response from them as well. And I mean, the influencers that I was targeting were obviously into fashion, and who create content related to that, right. So they also very well connected with my product and understood it, right. So they willingly wanted to have that kind of product and just also like produce content with it. So that was very, very motivating for me as well, because if these influencers and if these people are really liking the product, then there must be something about it, right. So that's
Surely,
what
surely.
kept me going. Yeah.
A perfect example of consistency as well as going for it. Great, great, great. Surely, next up.
So, as a young entrepreneur, like you are very young, what roots your confidence? Like, what you mentioned that you sing and that kind of removed your stage fear, but just as an entrepreneur, talking to people who are older than you or younger than you, like what stems your confidence?
So I think if you have a brand and you know what you're doing in your brand, right? If you know your idea, your brand, the value that it holds, and what problem are you solving, I think it shouldn't be difficult to interact with anyone outside your comfort zone. If you understand your product very well and you know what you're doing in your company, it's also important for you to network, right? And only when you're fully aware of everything that's happening in your company, you can, of course, talk about it to other people as well. And that definitely helped me also represent myself in front of the sharks, right? Because I knew which market I was targeting, what my customers also want from me, because I used to interact with them on a daily basis. Even now we interact with our customers on a daily basis, right? So that's the kind of I think motivation that you need, and the confidence, I would say, that you need. And you can only have that only if you're aware of what you're doing and what problem you're solving.
I think that's
Sure.
very well said. As they say, know your product and you know your company. So, moving on to further add this question, as a woman entrepreneur, did you face any specific challenges that you feel that other young entrepreneurs don't feel?
So I think personally I didn't, but I am aware that a lot of women entrepreneurs do face a challenge in India. But we're from a generation that treats women and men equally, right? We as students in college, we do understand that kind of segregation as well, right? But I think people from the older generation do not understand that. And I think um, it was honestly wonderful to see such talented women entrepreneurs, even in Shark Tank India. And that was just a limited number, right? I'm sure there are like thousands and millions of women who have started their own businesses, right? So I think that's really, really inspiring as well. And I think Shark Tank India has definitely brought in a revolution of change. I think from now onwards, we're going to be seeing a lot of women entrepreneurs who are going to be, starting their own businesses as well. And we have seen a couple of them who actually discussed about their struggles as well in Shark Tank, right? So that's definitely motivating, and it's a game changer for honestly all the women out there. And I think in the coming next year, in a few years, women will be leading the startup space, right? So I definitely believe that's going to happen. And we've seen live examples of even the sharks as well, but a lot of other women entrepreneurs such as Falguni Nayyar, right? So she's built such a great brand so far. So that's really, really inspiring and motivating. So I think you guys also, and for me as well, right? So that definitely keeps me going.
That's actually very well said, that the Shark Tank has actually brought a lot of mentality change, because now people in India are also, getting into the idea of, yeah, if I'm a woman, I can actually do it, because they see it and you see, you can do it. So that's very well said.
Yeah, like after Shark Tank, every dinner table at 9 p.m., everyone has a question like, क्या evaluation सही है? मुझे नहीं लगता ऐसे deal मिलेगी and all stuff. So it's really good to listen that. And this women entrepreneur community was really growing well in 2019, 2020. And after the Shark Tank and after COVID, it really got a big boost.
Right,
I
definitely. I think I agree with that. Yes. And I think we've seen people, ranging from, so maybe you'll see a couple of people who will be coming here from a 13-year-old to like a 60-year-old at Shark Tank, pitching their
Yes.
ideas, women entrepreneurs. So definitely inspiring and definitely, encouraging as well and motivating to see such people, such talented.
Also inculcating the stereotype between the mother-in-law as well as the daughter-in-law. We saw many entrepreneurs, these kind of stuff. Also, the family tree coming in for a pitch. It was beautiful to see, of course,
Definitely.
greatly. So now, with the next subsection that we have, we would be talking about your Shark Tank journey as well as your experience into it. So, Midaj, you can take forward from here.
Okay, so coming to Shark Tank, like what was the procedure of applying to Shark Tank? Like first I know was the form filling procedure on the internet. And after that, how did it go? Like they call for auditions or were there any pre-rounds and all?
So with Shark Tank, in some places they reached out to people, whereas some people had to also fill forms, right? So initially, when so luckily we actually got a call from their team, and they wanted to actually participate, make us participate in this, and it was really, I mean, shocking, because it wasn't there in India. And we have a mentality. I'm so sorry. Can I just have water? One second. I just
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, sure, sure, sure. We can take a water break for this section. We start again.
Yes, can you please repeat the question?
Yeah, so I'll repeat the question. So coming to Shark Tank, what was the procedure of applying into Shark Tank? Like, was it the form filling first, or after that the pre-rounds or auditions? What was the whole procedure?
So with Shark Tank, they reached out to some people, or some people also had to fill forms, right? So we were luckily given a call from them. And so initially we just had to make like a couple of videos for us to pitch our brand in front of the team as well. And then quite a few forms that we had to fill. And we were shortlisted in all of them, and luckily we went on to the next round. So there, they called us in our own city just to pitch our idea in front of some dummy sharks that they were there, right? So we had to pitch our idea there, and it was I think it went on for 2 hours for like each person. So they just had to, get into the nitty gritties of everything that they're doing in the business. Right. And postly after that, I wasn't really expecting to go through that, but luckily, and, because they related to the product, they actually got a call like 15 days, 10 days or 15 days before, and they wanted me to fly down to Mumbai for the studio round. Right. And of course, the studio round was honestly amazing to, have that kind of experience as well and represent yourself in front of the sharks. So it was definitely a life changing experience as well, and definitely gave my brand a boost.
Okay, so you said 2 hours of pitching and the audition round kind of thing. So you
Yeah.
have to be prepared for everything. Like whatever they ask, you have to be prepared. So how did you plan that pitch that you have to give?
So honestly, I don't think it's hard to prepare the pitch if you know your business, right? If you know what you're doing, if you know what your numbers are, if you know what kind of um, you know, market are you like targeting as well, right? And it I think more than the brand also depends on how you pitch the product in front of the sharks, because I don't know if you have seen, so a lot of sharks have also invested in the person, right? Of course their product is good, but also the kind of person that you are and how well you understand your product and what you're catering and what problem you're solving. I think it's a good way to go, right? So I think that's pretty important
Yeah.
when you're pitching in front of investors.
Yeah. So what at that time you when they called the Shark Tank people called you that you have to come up on the show and we are shortlisting you. So were you ready to give the equity? Like it is a very big thing for an entrepreneur. So were you ready for that?
Honestly, I was it was an honor to, represent my brand in such in front of these sharks. I think they're so well versed with how businesses work, and how what kind of expertise they also bring to the table, right? So I think that is important to keep in mind. And I know for a fact that, it will definitely be beneficial for my business. Even though I gave my equity, I know that the kind of value that they bring to the table is definitely going to be like beneficial for the company. So I don't have any regrets.
Yeah. So it was
Definitely.
worth it.
Yes, definitely.
That's great. That's great.
Moving on to the shooting portion now. I think a lot of us are interested in knowing that. So, considering all the entrepreneurs are so confident while they pitch, right? There's no hesitation, there's no break or anything. So, does the shooting happen in like one go, or do you guys have to like give retakes? Like, how does it work?
So it definitely happens in one go. And so I mean, it's just a snippet of what is shown on TV, but actually it went on for like 1.5 or 2 hours for some people as well, right? So they really understand your business in as much details as they can, right? And of course it's honestly overwhelming to just be there on the stage and just talk about your journey and your brand. And it was honestly a very good experience for me, and I'm sure for other people as well. So it was a great experience that was there.
That's great. So you mentioned that Shark Tank helped you boost your sales greatly. Like, we have talked about it a lot. But if you had to put a number on it, like if you had to describe it in a percentage, like what would you describe it as?
So I think Shark Tank has really like given our business a boost, and our sales have also risen maybe by 10 times, right? So we're also getting a lot of inquiries from all over the world. So that's something that rarely happens to a startup. And if we weren't aired, I don't think this would have happened in the next 10 years for us, right? So it has actually given us a boost and definitely put us out like 5 years ahead or 10 years ahead of our time in the business, right? So that's the kind of impact that it has. And it's amazing to see that people are appreciating the product, and understanding the product as well. And I've been receiving inquiries till date, like it's been more than a month now, but my phone doesn't stop ringing. Every day I'm getting calls, every day I'm getting inquiries. So it's honestly amazing to see this kind of response.
Yeah. So
And I can
personally,
say from this thing,
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
okay. I can say from my experience, means as well as from others also, Heart on My Sleeve would be the most memorable moment of this Shark Tank season. Coming in from the first episode, coming into the first episode, and then the take forward. And of course, you did a great job over there. So
And
good,
thank you,
good,
thank you,
good.
thank you so much.
So
Yeah, Midaj, good.
I was saying, like when I personally watch Shark Tank, when the episode airs, I usually check out their Instagram page and usually go on their website, like how is it going? And generally the
Yeah,
Instagram page has a big boom and the website is always down at that time. So did you face these
correct.
problems and how much your followers increased on Instagram when the show was airing?
Okay. So I actually prepared for it, for my website to be like on point, because I knew that I was going to be getting a lot of traffic on my website as well, right? So I actually prepared for that, and I got a new website made specifically. Just I wanted to handle a lot of traffic. That's why I got it made. So that was pretty sorted. But in terms of, I think, numbers on Instagram, so we were at a 12.6K when we didn't like we were about to air. And the moment that we got aired, it shot up to, I think, a 20K or something. And till date we have like a 26K of
Wow.
following. It's honestly amazing to see that
Big
kind
boom.
of growth in such a little time. And I think that's happening with all the businesses that are being aired on Shark Tank as well. So it's honestly amazing, and it's so difficult to get that kind of followers. If on a daily basis, I know it is a struggle to even reach 10K, right? It's a big thing, but from, I think, from Shark Tank, it has definitely given a boost, and it's amazing to see that kind of growth.
Excellent one, excellent. And of course, it would be bringing more growth to you into future also.
Thank
Surely.
thank
So,
you.
what was the behind the scenes? Of course, we have seen some behind the scenes of the shark having some food and something, or having a lot of fun over there. So, what was behind the scene for you guys? Means, were you at a separate place, or you were with the sharks only? You were interacting with other entrepreneurs also. What was the behind the scene?
So we were definitely interacting with other entrepreneurs, but with the sharks, obviously nobody had met them, right? So
Okay.
when we went inside the tank, that was the first time we actually introduced ourselves as a brand and interacted with them one on one, right? So it was definitely a overwhelming experience, I would say. And obviously they were asking questions related to your brand, so you had to answer those questions as well. So definitely a good experience. And I think interacting with a lot of other like-minded people who are who have their startups, it was great to honestly interact with those people as well, because they are also doing such great work, right? I mean, um I don't know if you've seen, but a lot of women entrepreneurs, like I mentioned, are, I think more than 70% were women entrepreneurs or had a co-founder woman entrepreneur, right? So it was honestly great. And I think the kind of interaction with these people also, I think I learned a lot from them as well, right? Because I think if you interact with people who are going through the same, who are doing the same stuff and going through the same struggles as you definitely relate to them and learn from them. So definitely a learning experience for me.
Surely, surely. Quite a good one, I would say. Hopefully, we would be seeing more of that coming in soon. So, you got a deal from Anupam Mittal as well as Benita Singh. So, how's it going right now? Means, are you guys working? Are you guys in good contact with each other? How's the meeting schedules and all going?
So it's definitely we're in contact, but a lot of back end processes are going on still. But definitely we're super excited for them to come on board and just start the whole business with us. And I'm sure that we're gonna make Heart of My Sleeves a big brand. So definitely very positive about that.
Surely, surely.
Okay, so I guess the due diligence is still going on of the whole thing, right? So
Hmm.
according to you, you got the deal. So what value would they be adding to Heart of My Sleeves?
So I think Anupam and Vinita both bring a very different kind of expertise on the board as well, right? They are so, well versed with businesses and how to build a brand. So I think that would definitely add a value to Heart of My Sleeves. And they honestly understand the nitty gritties of marketing, which we haven't done so um, you know consistently, I would say. I mean, influencer marketing is what we were doing, but in terms of digital marketing, we haven't, been doing that. So I think that will definitely help us to, boost our digital marketing as well. And the kind of networks, and I think that they have is definitely going to be beneficial.
Yeah, so they have a good knowledge about how to build a D2C brand, direct to consumer brand, and they have
Correct.
good contacts. So they'll help you from a lot of ways.
Correct.
And of course, sugar cosmetics, they would be they would be coming with a lot of value. About the human customers, I would say. I mean, Finita would be having that thing. Great, great.
So coming to
Surely.
the future plans and the values that Sharks are adding. So what other future varieties are you planning to introduce in your brand other than detachable sleeves?
So other than detachable sleeves, we've already, launched capes as well as brooches, and we're going to be launching detachable collars as well. So stay tuned for that, and definitely you can follow us to know more what we're launching. So follow us on Instagram to know more and stay tuned.
Sure.
So on this note, just a single question: who's the mastermind behind these all these design? Of course, you are coming from a psychology background. Do you have a full-fledged team with you right now? What's the team structure look like, and who's doing what?
So actually my mom helps me a lot in designing, and my dad has also been into so he's into wholesale of garments of Indian wear, right? So he also has a lot of knowledge and expertise in this, but my mom also holds that kind of experience and knowledge, so she helps me a lot with designing, and we finalize designs accordingly, right? So that's definitely great. And apart from that, the team size is pretty small right now, but of course, we're planning to expand a lot. So if any of your colleagues or students who are interested in
Sure.
interning with us, they can definitely get in touch with us.
Sure.
I'd,
Great, great, great.
I'd like to mention over here how, since we have just let on a little how Heart Up My Sleeves are interested in hiring interns, our community has gone bonkers. Like everybody is asking every day. I get messages that when are you gonna post the opportunity? Like people are very excited to be a part of your team.
That's really, really great to know. And I'm honestly, I would be very, very happy to have such, creative people on board as well. I think it really helps to get that kind of different perspective from different people as well.
Yeah, I feel like we have a lot of designers and a lot of creative minds, even in our team as well. Like I think Amit
Yeah.
and Medha agree with me how we have very talented people here as well.
Correct. I think that is very important in a business. You need to have people on board who don't think in the same way as you, who looks
Surely.
at things, in a different perspective. So I think it's very important for a business to have that.
Surely.
Rightly said. Rightly.
You already mentioned your impeccable work ethic, and of course, you have been consistent. But there are a lot of viewers that will watch this who are also doing some sort of a business on Instagram. So, what would you suggest to them? Like, if you had to give them a tip, something like what would it be?
So I think if you are on Instagram, you really need to understand your audience and the niche that you have and market your product accordingly, I would say. So I think it's very important for to understand what your customers want and what they're also liking, right? So if you basically if your customers are okay with understanding your product, and if you're creating like a similar kind of grid every day and they're responding well to that, they're okay with consistency, then you're good to go. But if they like something new and interactive on a daily basis, if you need to hold some kind of discounts, or you really need to understand what your customer is driven by, I think it's very, very crucial for any business. So I think the key is to interact with them initially if you're starting out, just to understand and also get that kind of feedback from your customers. I think that's important as you move ahead in your journey. And of course, I think as an when you're aware of your product and your audience, you'll know how to expand accordingly in time.
That's
Great,
actually
great.
a very good thing to go by. I'm pretty sure a lot of people can take inspiration from these.
So the major
Surely.
inspiration would be like you have to know your product wholly. Yeah.
Correct.
And
Definitely.
to
I
be
think
open for change also. Yes.
yeah, I mean, obviously you have to know what your brand is also catering, and you have to put it out like that. If you're not able to put that kind of message out, what you're thinking inside your head, then you need to work on that. If you're able to put that kind of message out there, then you're good to go.
So for the designing
It is
stuff
all.
and the marketing thing, all of the things, did you hire someone or did you do that on your own wholly?
So I honestly do that on my own also. Like I have a lot of help from my sister and my family with that. But yeah, I mean, I have a person who handles the website, but it's amazing to honestly do it on my own, because I get to interact with that kind of audience and customers that I have. And I think it's important for any business to do that.
Okay, so you give a
Of course,
person
we are
touch.
expanding. We are expanding, and we will be hiring a couple of people on board.
Yeah, that's great. So you're giving a personal touch as of now to your customers, and how are they, what are their feedbacks and all?
Correct.
Yeah, that's great.
I feel
Surely.
like that's also been a very big part of your confidence, that you have been doing all this groundwork on your own, and you've known from the start like how things are going and what it's all about. So I feel like that is also a very big part of your confidence.
Thank you so much. I think it's important for anyone, to actually interact with customers, and I think it's important to also understand and deal with the daily processes that take place in your company, right? So it's very important to interact with your employees as well as your customers on an equal level.
Very
Sure.
well said.
Great, rightly said. As well as you have been big into this thing. Of course, you had your own journey. So, of course, we say 5 steps ahead, 2 steps backward. So, what were those 2 steps backward, as well as what were the learning that you got so that you can go 10 steps ahead? So, what was those learning that you have gathered over the year?
So I think it has definitely been a learning journey, and with a lot of ups and downs. I would say it was a roller coaster ride, but I think I have a very, very long way to go personally. And
Surely.
I honestly am here right now, and I just want to keep growing, every day. So that's the kind of motivation that I have, to grow and to learn from people around me, whether it may be my colleagues or my employees, or anyone around me that I'm interacting with. So I set a goal that I need to learn from this person. I know that this person is good in this thing, so I might be able to grasp something from him or her. So I think that's the key. And also one more takeaway would be that customer, right? Customer is the key to your business, and as long as they're happy and satisfied, you're doing the right thing. So you really need to understand when and how your customer is happy and what makes them happy as well. So that's the kind of learnings that I've had in the past year. And yeah, I think it was a great journey, and I'm really, really looking forward to build on that.
Surely, learning never stops. Of course, with the sharks coming in, there is a whole lot different experience waiting for you on the other side. Sure, sure, sure. So, coming to the last question, of course, we would be ending after this. And one word for your journey, how it has been. Any one word that you want to explain into.
So I think, like I mentioned, it has been a learning journey. And for the longest time, I think it's going to be a learning journey for me. And I think that should be the case with everyone. You shouldn't think that you've reached at the highest level. You should be like, I want to work on myself every day. I want to improve every day. That kind of motivation really helps you to also keep you going, right? So I think I have become that person that wants to like learn and grow every day. And I think it's
Surely.
important as well.
A
So
curious person never fails to succeed, of course. Yeah, with it.
that's really great that you're learning something from everyone every day. So if asked, who is your biggest inspiration in the whole journey of this startup and growing it?
So I think I have a lot of people that I am inspired by, but now that I look at it, I think my customers would be where I'm mostly motivated and inspired by. I think the way that they also, explore their creativity with the product, it really, really inspires me to get on every day and work harder for them, right? And it honestly makes me happy that they are happy and satisfied. I think that's the key as well, right? If in a business your customers are happy and satisfied, you know that you're doing the right thing, right? And it's very important to interact with them to understand that if that's happening. So I think that's the key to my motivation to go out every day, because I know that this is actually working out and they're liking the product and they want to see more of these kind of products as well, right? So that's the biggest inspiration that I have.
Okay, that's really great and inspiring.
Great, great. So let's just, of course, we heard enough, as well as we are so much delighted to have you with us. And of course, our community would be going to love this thing out. So this is EDC presenting you Let's Talk Business. And thank you for coming in, Priya. Thank you.
Also, one more thing. So I would actually want you guys to maybe type or comment below. What do you guys think about ties, which are pre-stitched ties for men and women? So like if you're going to work, you can just pull it in and you're ready to go. Because a lot of people face a problem, getting ready in the morning in a hurry, right? So I would actually want you guys to maybe comment below and write what do you feel about that, and do you think it would really be beneficial for you?
Surely. Great, great, great.
Personally,
Even
I
I like
don't
that
know
personally,
how
that
to
idea.
how to tie a tie, so I personally don't know.
Hmm.
And that would be a great option. Like we also saw that some kind of thing in Three Idiots also, like the virus was
Yeah,
Hmm.
wearing that kind of tie. So that would
yeah,
be
yeah.
a really big revolution because everyone saw that in Three Idiots, and but no one tried that. How would it feel and
Yeah.
how would it look? So it would be really great if you launch that product.
Good one.
Great, do let me know. Thank you so much, guys, for having me here. It was a
Thank you,
pleasure.
Riya.
Thank you so much.
Great, great.
Thank you so much.
About your
Thank
time to talk to us.
Sure.
Bye.